Hey everyone, Internet PCS book reader here. Today I want to talk about understanding Shinto, origin, beliefs, practices, festivals, spirit, sacred places by C. Scott Littleton. First, I want to preface the video by saying I'm not a religious person, I'm more of an agnostic. But I'm not here to promote any religion or to make fun of any other religion. I just like to read things that I don't understand much, and my understanding of Shinto in general is basically what little there is on JRPG like Persona or Shin Megami Tensei. So, not much really. But hey, that's what the channel is all about, right? Dumb me sharing things I read, and I thought since I got the chance of finding the book from secondhand bookstore, I might as well read further about it. Shinto is such an interesting belief if you are at any way have tasted Japanese media like their game, their anime or manga, or even some of their literature. Japan themselves is a country that like to take and twist the influence they got from other culture. The book describes this as syncretism, a high degree of ambiguity tolerance that blend foreign and indigenous ideas and beliefs. But I really prefer the term that big boy YouTube streamer Ludwig used, yoing and turn. Ramen I think is the most famous example of this, where it originated from Chinese noodle, but it was yoing and turned into a genre of its own that we call ramen. Or on pop culture media in general, an example of this would be Dragon Ball, a yoing and twist of Journey to the West and an alien that crash landed on Earth as a baby because his home planet was destroyed. And the author Akira Toriyama used his own yoing and twist to make his own story. Shinto is a religion that originated from Japan, comes from a word that came from Chinese, Xian, spirit, and Dao, Wei, Xian Dao. But in later installment of the teaching, it is only mostly known as Shinto. It is a religion that later on will be influenced by many things, mostly from Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. No one really knows who originated Shinto, but it's been around quite a while, since the Yayoi era in 300 BCE, and it is named Kami no Michi or Way of the Gods. It has helped the Yamato or Sun clan to rise in power and make the emperor some sort of godly figure, and people really worship the emperor like he's one of the many kami. The concept of worshipping kami or god itself has been around in Japan for much longer than 2000 years. For example, during the Jomon era, Japan has made Dogu, a feminine statue to worship a god of fertility. And when Buddhism came in Japan, there is a part of Shinto that combine both of them, so Buddha and Amaterasu become kinda the same level at one point. I think this flexibility is what allows many story of killing God in modern Japan storytelling, or some comedy like Senyo Man where Jesus and Buddha is going on a holiday in Japan. And even without the addition of Buddhism and later Christianity, Shinto themselves from old records like Kojiki and Nihon Shoki had 8 million kami, or more specifically, because of the symbol of 8, it just represents there's an infinite amount of kami or gods. Places and things can even become gods because of concepts like Ujigami or the spirit of place. Kamikaze is one example of this, where they are the spirit of wind. Between the deity, there's also some positive one and negative one, or just kamis that is neutral. Inari is considered good, Tengu can be kind of harsh depending on the story. Susanoo used to be a negative god, but he became neutral after he was reincarnated to human, and Oni is considered to be a being that represents chaos or against nature itself. It's kind of fun reading the book and seeing how much of Shinto has become a part of Japan even to modern era. Shrines are still a big part of Japanese culture, even in celebrating New Year's or just ordinary everyday prayers for success like studying, etc. Even charm or omamori or secret talisman that is usually sold in this shrine is still such a big cultural item in Japan, where not only people buy them for themselves, but it is also a gift that you can buy for other people. Finally, there's also a level of price to some of these charms like they're pay to win. There's all the festival or Matsuri that is celebrated in Japan, from regional festival or the global festivities like New Year or Obon. Even Bat or Ofuro also comes from Shinto obsession with wa or harmony involving cleansing and clean sacred place. The deities themselves is still a huge part of pop culture in Japan. Izanagi Izanami, which is the father and mother of all of kamis, still took a big part in Japan media. Persona 4 that I've mentioned use both deities, albeit very loosely. In Shinto, at the beginning, the world is just formless chaos, just like in Greek mythology. There were about 8 generations of kamis that come out of this chaos, and Izanagi or August male and Izanami or August female is the 8th generation of these kamis. Both of them were standing in what is called floating bridge of heaven and dipped a jeweled spear into a jelly-like mass and created the first land, Onogoro Island. Here at the island they had intercourse and gave birth to least child or monster, so they asked the older kami on how to do it properly before they succeeded and gave birth to more islands that formed Japan and more deities. But her last child, the fire god, gave Izanami severe birth damage that killed her and sent her to Yomi. Izanagi tried to save her and went into Yomi, where for people who played Persona 4 knows what happens next. Izanagi was supposed to go out while holding Izanami's hand without looking back, but just like many stories involving fighting against curiosity, Izanami lost against fear of missing out and looked back to see a deformed Izanami. He let go of her hand and ran away from Yomi, being chased by Izanami and the hex of Yomi, barely escaping with his life. He cleansed himself from Yomi's pollution by taking a bath in High River, so you know, Ofuro. Here, as he was, Amaterasu was born from his left eye, the moon god Tsukuyomi from his right eye, and Susanoo from his nose. After that, Izanagi retired from being a god and gave his position to Amaterasu, or the person who makes heaven shine. She becomes supreme deity. Tsukuyomi becomes the lord of the night, while Susanoo was given the sea just like Poseidon. Susanoo then got jealous of his sister's position and challenged them into a divination contest, where the contest is who can produce more children. Susanoo technically won since he gave birth to more children, but Amaterasu got more male offspring, so she won. Being a sore loser that he is, Susanoo got angry and rampaged through heaven, which caused Amaterasu, or the sun, to hide in a cave. Having no sun caused a lot of troubles, including no sunlight and no corpse. So the gods enticed Amaterasu to come out of the cave using the sacred mirror, then they banished Susanoo into human world. As a human, Susanoo got the sword, the mirror, and the Magatama that are used heavily in stories like Naruto or King of Fighters in the Orochi arc. And the Magatama took a big part in a lot of character design in general, whether in Inuyasha's necklace or the attack pattern of Susanoo in Naruto. And that's about the end of the Age of God in Japan according to Shinto religion. I think why it has such a huge influence on pop culture is because a lot of Shinto mythology are just that interesting. It's too bad that unlike Greek mythology, so little of the writings survive, and a lot of them have almost no connection to each other. How Susanoo saved the maiden and gave birth to Okuninushi have almost nothing to do with Shichifukujin or the Seven Lucky Gods. A lot that still survive is mostly the story of gods with historical records like Hachiman, Tenjin, or even the Meiji Emperor that has his own shrine built so he can be worshipped after his death. Humble guy. The book also mentions tons of figures that helped establish Shinto in Japan, like Ono Yasumari, who compiled the Kojiki, and Motori Nirinaga, who the book mentioned as probably the greatest Shinto scholar. It of course also mentioned the ethical principle of Shinto, which has a lot of influence from Confucianism, like saving face, but has been highly adapted in Japan and combined with karma from Buddhism. But you can see the push to conformity here, where for better or worse means it pushes for people to not go against social codes, which have both positive and negative impact to modern society. The book is such an interesting look to what I think is one of the most localized religion and how much it influenced Japanese culture in general. Enough to establish that no matter what religion people believe in Japan, they mostly will still also practice a lot of Shinto customs like buying charms or saving face. It's also a clean look into the culture and its practice in modern era, including some of the quotes that came out. It's short, it's not that serious, and some of the information are repeated in the book, but it has its charm with a few images from photos to art. If you're interested in knowing more about the religion outside of its adaptation, I think give this a try. I give this a 3.5. What do you think? Are you gonna read it? Did I miss anything? Leave your thoughts in the comment below and subscribe to the channel. That's about it.